We got these beautiful 27 millimeter crystal rectangles in this week, and they're beautiful and they're thin, so people are wondering what they do with them. Well, I'm going to show you how to encase this rectangle using peyote stitch with size 11 delicas and size 15 seed beads. Now, very, very important, these rectangles are custom coated, which means Swarovski made the crystal and then another company put the custom coat on it. This certain crystal is tabac. Now, if you flip it over, that is where your coating is. Before you actually start working and encasing it, you'll want to make sure that you have put at least 2 layers of clear fingernail polish over the top of it. If you do not do this, as you work and you press and you rub, you're going to start rubbing some of the coat off. So be sure and let that be the very first thing that you do with your piece. Now, to get started, I'm using my size 11 Delica, and for this specific one, I'm using a matte metallic gold. And what I've done is I have put 66 seed beads onto a 4-pound fire line, about 1.5 yards, and I've pulled it almost down to the end, and I have tied the tail and the working thread together to make my circle. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put it around my index and my forefinger, and that makes it a little easier for you to work with. And I'm going to go through 1 bead next to my knot. Now, once I've gone through the 1 bead, I'm going to pick up 1 delica, I'm going to skip 1 on the base, and I'm going to go through the next, so that when I pull, I get 2 side by side. Again, I'm going to pick up a delica, skip 1 on the base, and go through the next one. And I'm going to do this all the way around, picking up 1 bead, skipping 1 on the base, and going through the next one. And I'm going to do this all the way around the circle until I'm back to the beginning. Now, once I'm back around to the beginning, I have to do a step called stepping up. So, as you can see, I am coming out here, and I need to skip this bead and go through this one to finish up my row. So, I will pick up 1 size 11, skip the 1 bead here, and then I will come through that last bead on the row. Now, before I go through that last bead on the row, I can do what is called stepping up. And that is simply, I'm going to take my needle, and I'm going to go up through the very first bead that I added in this row. Okay, so I'm going through the very last bead of the row, and then I'm going through the very first bead of the row that I just added. So that now, all the way around, I have a row of size 11 delicas. Now, I'm going to go to my 15s. And I'm going to do 2 rows of these, pulling really good and tight. So I'm going to pick up a 15 and go through the next delica sticking up. Pick up a 15, go through the next delica sticking up. Pick up a 15, go through the next delica sticking up. And I'm going to do this all the way around, and I'll show you, get back to around here and show you how to do your step up. Once I come around to the end here, I'm going to pick up a 15, I'm going to go through the last 11 delica on the base, then I'm going to come up through the first 15 that I threaded on in the row. And once you've done the step up, you're going to pick up a 15 and go through the next 15 sticking up. Then you'll pick up a 15 and go through the next 15 sticking up. So as you can tell, it's very important that you try to use colors that are a little different from each other, so it's going to be a little bit easier for you to differentiate your two colors as you go around. But we're going to go all the way around, adding a 15 in this row, and you want to pull it really good and tight. You want it to have a cup shape like this. Okay, so you work on yours, and I'll be right back. Now that I've gone all the way around, when I come around to the side here, I did not step up. I went through the very last 15 of my row, and I did not step up. The reason being is because your stone that you're using is a very skinny stone. So you don't have to do a lot of beadwork to cover it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle, and I'm going to stitch through my beads. And as you can see, I can pretty much get through them all at the same time, but I'm going through 3 in a diagonal line to come out on the back side. Now, you must go through the beads. If you do not go through the beads, you will have thread showing, and you will not be happy. Now, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim off my little tail here so that it doesn't get in my way. And as you can see, you have a square stone or a rectangle stone and an oval shaped encasing for it. And this is very important. This is where the whole covering the back with the fingernail polish comes in, because if you don't, you're going to be continually rubbing and holding the back of the stone while we're encasing it, and you're going to rub off that special coating. So please heed my advice and do what I'm saying. Now, you're going to lay your stone in the encasement, and you will have to work to make this thing fit in there. As long as you can get it semi to where it will fit a little bit, the rest will be worked on as we do the project. But we're going to do rows of 15s on the front or on the back, just like we did the front. So the first go round, I'm going to pick up a 15 and go through the next 11 sticking up. And each time I'm going to pull good and tight. Because as you pull good and tight, what that does is that's going to pull your beads up on the side so that it will encase it a little bit better. And I got a little thread caught. There we go. And you'll see as I go around, it's going to pull up and it's going to do much better. You'll have a much better fit for it. See, I'm just pulling as I go through. I'm just pulling up. So I'm going through. And when I pull, I'm pulling up. Okay, and you want to do that all the way around on the stone.